Yeah, good morning. Today we will be seeing about protection. Protection in the sense, the name itself indicating it is what you call limiting someone's access up to some extent. Okay, that is what the protection. Now you might be encountering one word called security and this protection. What is meant by security and what is meant by protection? Here, although these two words seems to be same, but security is like from external things. Like we are having a system where we are having several several files for directories and all, and now some from external system, this particular system is connected in the network. Let us say this is a network, it is connected in a network. From external to this particular system, if anyone tries to access any of these things not unauthorizedly, then that should be avoided. That will come under security. Security in the sense, from outsider, okay, from outside anyone need what you call trying to access the data unauthorizedly, then we can say we will be restricting that by providing security. Okay, restricting itself is the security. Okay, that is from outside. Now you consider protection. Protection in the sense, inside one particular system we will be having several objects, several vertical files, directories and all we will be having. Of course some devices also we will be having. So who could able and we will be having several process, P1, P2, P3, like this several process will be there. Which process could able to access these objects, okay, these files? Like in one particular, you consider within your mobile itself, you will be protecting WhatsApp, you will be protecting YouTube, you will be protecting some app which you wanted to access for yourself. Remaining things you will be open, you will keep open for all. So, something like that you can consider. Now within one particular system, how we could able to restrict the access to some specified users or some specified what you call authorized people is nothing but protection. So now our interesting point is protection. That means within one particular system there can be multiple process, multiple users, we can say multiple users we will be having, and each user will be having several process, and there exist several objects. Like you consider several files are there within a system. Okay, these are the files. Now we are having users. Yeah, we are having users. Now each user will be having their own process. Okay, these are process, and this process will try to access any of these files like this. Then suppose this particular user or this process is not authorized to access these files, then it will be protected. That is nothing but protection. Within one particular system, whatever the data objects that we have or device objects that we have, those will be protected from unauthorized access from the process within a system. Within a system only we will be having several processes, but only some process will be allowed to access, allowed to perform certain operations, other processes are not allowed. So how we can ensure such kind of accessing? That is our topic. I hope you understand what is meant by protection and how it is different from security. Security is like from outsider, if anyone wants to access, trying to access, then we will try to restrict it. That is nothing but security. Yeah. In this we will be seeing what are the goals of protection, what are the principles, domain of protection, access matrix, implementation of access matrix. These things we will be seeing. Yeah. Goals of protection. In this one, as we have discussed, we will be having objects, collection of objects. Collection of objects in the sense, we can consider those can be either hardware objects or software objects. Objects can be of two types. One is hardware objects, another one is software objects. What are software objects? What are hardware objects? Like you consider printer, scanner. These are hardwares. Okay, hardware. The object associated with these hardware devices we can consider as hardware objects. And you consider a simple thing like file. File you can consider as software objects. Like this, we will be having two types of objects. Okay, hardware objects or software objects. Now, how we will be protecting these objects? That's what we will be seeing. And each object will be having unique name and can be accessed through well-defined set of operations. That means on one particular object, we will be having what are the operations that can be performed. Such kind of list will be there. Those operations only we can perform. Like you consider text file. Can we be able to execute the text file? It is a text file, so we will not execute it. So whenever we have source file, then we could able to execute. So certain operations will be designated for certain type of files, and that will be defined. Okay. Next, protection problem. What is actual protection problem is ensure that each object is accessed correctly and only by those processes that are allowed to do so. Whatever the processes are allowed to do those operations on specified objects, those only needs to be performed. Ensuring such kind of operations, we call it as protection. Protection problem is nothing but ensuring that each object is accessed correctly. That means correct set of process or correct process only need to access objects, and whatever the operations which we can perform on those objects, those only it needs to allow. Okay, such kind of maintaining is nothing but protection. Okay, this is protection problem. Okay, goals of protection is this is the goal actually, ensuring that every object is accessed correctly and only by those processes that are allowed. Okay, this is protection problem. This is the goal of protection, and for this we will be considering these two, like every hardware thing and software thing we will be considering as an object, and each object will be having unique name and can be accessed through well-defined set of operations. Okay, these are the considerations. Then we can define this protection problem. Yeah. Next, principles of protection will be seen. Yeah, principles of protection in the sense, just I will tell you one thing. Suppose in your home, child is there. In your home, child is there. Then you will be giving some things, some toys to play. Okay, then you will restrict up to some extent. Okay, you will restrict child up to some extent by giving as minimum as possible. What you call, you will be restricting like some toys you will be keeping, and you will be restricting the child up to that particular extent. Okay, that means whatever the space that you could able to provide as minimum, that minimum space you will be deciding. Okay, this is the minimum space that you can provide, and freely you could able to leave child. Then it is like a minimum privileged thing. Okay, child could able to do anything within this particular area, like you will be keeping the things in such a way that child cannot harm himself or herself. Understand? Such kind of thing here also we will be obtaining, like we will try to protect, we will try to give access rights in such a way that principle of least privilege. That means this is the least one that we can provide as the privilege, that only we will be giving. Okay, so this is the guiding principle of least privilege. What does it mean is, programs, users and systems should be given just enough privileges to perform their tasks. Okay, we will not be giving not even one level above compared to whatever the level required. Okay, that is principle of least privilege. Okay, what is the advantage of this one is it will limits the damage. Limits the damage. Why? Because if that particular process is given some, suppose this is the required access privilege. Suppose if you give little more like this, little more like this, due to whatever the program we are running, like process 1, we have required up to this, but we have given this one, this outer circle. Okay, we have given little more. Then this process 1 will be having some instructions which may be having some bugs. Okay, those bugs will be making some damage outside of this. Okay, that's why we will try to minimize the damage by giving whatever the minimum privilege that we can provide, least privilege that we can provide, that only we will try to put it. Okay, next, these privileges can be static or can be dynamic. Static in the sense during the life of the system, whatever the rights we have given, those only will be kept with those process. Okay, it cannot obtain any any other privileges. It cannot give up any privileges. Okay, those are static. Next, dynamic in the sense changed by process as needed. Like we will be seeing what is this dynamic. Static in the sense whatever the privileges. Suppose let us consider one particular process could able to access file 1, file 2, file 3 it cannot access. Process 2 it could able to access file 1 but it cannot access file 2, but it can access file 3. Okay, this is the privilege, let us say. Then this privilege cannot be changed. This particular table cannot be changed. That is static. It can be static. During the life of the process, this is the access list. Okay, it cannot obtain file 2 file 3 permission. P1 cannot obtain file 3 permission. Similarly, P2 cannot obtain file 2 permission. Okay, that is static. Next, dynamic. This we will be seeing rigorously. Just you consider dynamic in the sense whatever the access rates that we have, those can be modified whenever process needs other vertical permissions, other privileges, then we could able to modify. For that we are having domain switching, privilege escalation, these things. What are these? We will see. Okay, just you consider dynamic in the sense if a process needs, we could able to modify. Okay, I hope you understand what is meant by static, what is meant by dynamic. Next, need to know is a similar concept regarding access to data. Need to know in the sense operating system before giving access to one particular file, let us say F1 to the P1, it will ask what operation you wanted to perform on this file, on this object. What operation this P1 wants to perform, that need to be known to operating system, then only it will allow. Okay, that is need to know concept. I hope you understand. What is need to know is some process wants to access one object, then operating system will ask process which operation you wanted to perform on this object. Based upon that particular operation only it will decide. Okay, before, although P1 is having all the rights, like it could able to perform read operation, it could able to perform write operation, and execute operation also it could able to perform, but still operating system will ask process P1 that what operation you wanted to perform on this particular object. That is nothing but need to know. Okay, now yeah, this is a kind of like yeah, domain. What is meant by domain? Let us see. Suppose we are having one scenario like we know some military area in Hyderabad itself. You will be having cantonment area, right? You know? Yes. Cantonment area. Do you know? Anyone please answer ma. This is overall thing only na. Yeah. Cantonment area means it is military area. There some restrictions will be there. Up to you cannot stop your vehicle within this cantonment area and talk phone, all those things. Okay, you cannot roam at all the times. Understand? Such kind of restrictions will be there. Some restrictions will be there in this particular area. Similarly, if you go to some tourist places, then there will be some what you call predefined set of restrictions. Within those restrictions only, we should we should behave. Okay, you should not make some noise, or we should not go with a heavy vehicle. Such kind of restrictions will be there. So within this particular area, we should follow the same. We will be having certain limited rights. Similarly, here also we will be having certain limited rights. Here also, like that, suppose if you go to something like Goa, then there will be more privileges. You could do so many things which you cannot do here. Such kind of rights are there. Like this, several areas if you consider, you will be having set of privileges that you could avail. Okay, these areas we can consider as domains. These areas you can consider as domains, like domain 1, domain 2, domain 3, domain 4. Okay, whenever a process is in this particular domain 1, then it could able to perform certain operations. Whenever a process is in domain 2, then it could able to perform some other operations. Whenever it is in D3, specified operations only can be performed. It is in D4, then specified operations only can be performed. Like that, for every domain, we will be having certain operations that we can perform on given objects. What are objects? Those objects can be hardware objects or software objects. We could able to perform certain operations. Okay, I hope you got the intuition. What is meant by domain? Domain in the sense, some restricted area where we will be having certain privileges. We will be having some privileges, but those will be specified. That is nothing but domain. Like that, we will be having certain domains. Okay. Now, let us consider here. A domain is nothing but set of access rights. Set of access rights. What is meant by access right? Access right is nothing but this is the format for access right. That is object name we will be having, then rights set. That means what are the operations that we can perform on this object. That entire set we will be specifying. Like I will give you one simple example. We are having objects like suppose printer. We are having two printers. Let us say printer 1, printer 2. Okay. On this particular printer 1, we are having the privilege like right set. Like we could able to printer in the sense hybrid device, like we are having scanner as well as a printer and Xerox as well. So now you consider we could able to perform read operation, we could able to perform write operation on this printer. That means we could able to print it and we could able to read through scanner. And in this printer we are having one particular we are having the restriction that we could able to give only printing. That is write operation only we are having, but read operation is restricted. Although it is also equally capable, it is restricted. But here we are having the two permissions. Okay, read operation we can perform, write operation we can perform. So now access right is nothing but object name. What is the object name here? PR1 is the object name. PR1 is the object name. Next, rights set. What are the rights that we have? Read and write operations we can perform on PR1. So this is one access right. Okay. Next, second access right is PR2. That is object name. Next, what is the set of rights that we can perform? We can perform only write operation. So this will be the set. Okay. Like this, access rights we will be defining. So domain is nothing but such kind of set of access rights we consider as a domain. Okay. Now you consider an example. Here we are having D1 where one access right is O3, that is the object 3. Read write we can perform. Next, object 1, we can perform read write. Object 2, we can perform only execute operation. So these are the set of objects, set of access rights. This is one access right, this is one access right, this is another access right. Like this, we are having 3 access rights. Set of these all we will be considering as one domain called D1. Similarly, D2 is having, D2 and D3 are also having set of access rights. This is one access right, this is another access right. And D3 is having 3 access rights. One is this one, remaining 2 are this one. Okay, same format. Object name, then set of rights. Object name, set of rights. Object name, set of rights. Like this. Now you consider, some from this example you can understand that these domains can have some intersection, some common access rights. Like you consider cantonment area and some other area where we are having some other restrictions, people can be able to travel through that area. Okay, within from 9 to 9 you could able to travel, or 9 to 6 you could able to travel. Like this, some common rights will be there. That you can understand from this intersection. Okay, D2 and D3 will be having set of access rights. Out of those, some common may also exist. Okay, there is no restriction that definitely common rights should be there, but we can have common rights. Okay, I hope you understand what is meant by access right, what is meant by domain. Yeah. Next, this particular domain, how we could able to implement. This is quite interesting for you, I think. Domain implementation, like some people might be using Unix. In Unix, you will be using sudo apt get something, this kind of get install or get update. These kind of commands you will be executing. Yes or no? You will be executing sudo apt get install, apt get update, something like that you will be executing. So what does it mean? Is here we are changing the domain. Whatever the domain that we are having, from that we are changing the domain to the more privileged one. That is, root will be having more privileges, all the privileges. Through those privileges, we are executing this. Okay, that is the indication here. Sudo, in the sense, we are switching the domain from existing domain to the root domain, so that we will be getting more privileges and we could able to execute all the commands. Okay, this command installation is nothing but like in Windows also you can observe, whenever you try to execute, try to install one software, then it will ask whether you wanted to proceed yes or no, like this. It will ask. Okay, based upon your consent only, it will initiate the process. First of all, understand, this is not the what you call. This is not the window designed by that particular software. This is designed and given by operating system. So operating system will be asking whether you wanted to switch the domain or not. Yes, administration, what you call, you are modifying, so it has to be executed in administrative mode. Such kind of message you will be getting. I hope you, if you observe, you can find it. Then it could, it will be switching from existing domain to administrator domain, so that it could able to install, it could able to modify program files. In C drive, let us say, you will be having the what you call folder called program files. To modify or to create any folder within this program files, we need to have some privileges. Those privileges are not with the users, those privileges will be with the administrator. So that's why it will be asking whether you wanted to proceed or not. I hope you might have experienced this. Whenever you install any software, one folder will be created in program files in most of the cases. Then to create that folder and put all the files related to that software, we need to have privileges. That's why it will be switching the domain. Okay. Similarly, here also in Unix also sudo will be there to switch from current domain to another domain. And you can have another command like su. Su is nothing but switch user. From one user, if you wanted to switch to another user, then you could able to switch and you can perform whatever the privileged instruction that you wanted to execute. Like this, domain implementation can be done in these ways. Okay, that's what here we have. Sudo and su you can observe. Of course, this Windows you might have experienced already. Yes. Next, this domain implementation you can observe in other way, like you will be considering each domain as rings. Okay, each domain as rings. Like this is one domain. Okay, this is domain 0, ring 0. So we can consider this as D0. Next, this is domain 1, a ring. Yeah, this is, I think this is domain. Yeah, this is domain 0. This is domain 1. This is D1, and this one is domain 2 or ring 2. Like this, we will be having several rings. Now, whenever we have j is less than I, this is I, not L. J is less than I. That means this particular domain is part of this one. Understand? This particular one. Now you can say j is less than I. That means you consider this one as I, this one as j. Now j is less than I. If j is less than I, then di, that means this particular one is from here to here. Okay, this is the domain. Okay, from here to here we will be considering as di. Next, from here to here we will be considering as dj. So now di is a subset of dj, isn't it? J is less than I, so di is a subset of dj. Okay, you can say di is a subset of dj specifically. Why? Because j is less than I, so definitely di is less than dj. Why? Because here you can understand one thing. This is one ring. Okay. Next, this one is another ring. What does it mean is, starting from here up to the last one, we will be having the privilege. Okay, we will be having the privilege. Next, when we start from here, up to last, we will be having the privilege. That is the meaning. Now, whenever you consider this as D3, or this one as D3 and this one as D2. This is D3 and this is D2. Then 2 is less than 3. Okay, that is 2 is less than 3. Then definitely D2 will be, or D3 will be subset of D2. D3 will be subset of D2. Why? Because D2 contains from here to here as well as here to here. So this will be part of D2. That's why we can denote like this. Whenever j is less than I, then di is subset or equal to dj. Okay, this is one understanding. Next, this is an important and interesting as well. Access matrix. As we have seen earlier, access right. How we can denote access right? Domain is nothing but set of access right, and access right we will write it as like object name, then set of rights. Like this we will be denoting, right? This is one access right. Like this, object 2, let us say this is object 1, object 2, then set of rights. Like this is access right. Now, what is this one? Access matrix. The name itself indicating that it is a matrix kind of structure, and it is used to specify the access right. Okay. Now, let us consider how it will be. Like we will be having several domains as the rows. Next, all the objects as the columns. Objects can be of two types, as we have discussed. Objects can be software objects or hardware objects. So now software here files we are having, and hardware object also we are having, F1, F2, F3 and print. These are the objects. Now D1, D2, D3, D4 are the domains. These are the objects, these are the domains. Now in this particular domain, what are the privileges it is having? Domain is nothing but set of access rights. So what is the object name? F1 and read permission. So F1 comma read, that is one access right, as we have discussed here. F1 comma read, that is one access right. Next F3 comma read, this is another access right, F3 comma read. Okay, this set we will be considering as a domain. So these two we are having, this is a domain. Next, similarly for D2 we are having only one access right, that is printer comma print operation. Next D3 we are having two, F2 comma read, F3 comma execute. Next for D4 we are having so many, that is F1 comma read comma write, F3 comma read comma write. This instead of what you call denoting, D1 is having these set of rights and D2 is having these set of rights on these what you call objects, we will be denoting by using access matrix. Okay, in the access matrix, whenever we say access of ij in the sense ith row jth column, what does it mean is set of operation. What it will give, suppose you consider ith row jth column, just you consider I as this one and j as this one. Okay, j is this one, ith row jth column will contain this one. Now what we are having, set of operations that a process executing in domain I, this is the domain I, can invoke on object j. Okay, on this particular object j, domain, in the domain I, what are the operations can be allowed? That is nothing but access of ij will contain. Okay, I hope you understand what is the structure of access matrix. Access matrix is nothing but it's a matrix which will be used to denote what are the access rights that we are having for every domain. That is nothing but access matrix. Here we will be having rows as the domains, columns as the objects. Objects can be software objects or hardware objects. Next, access of ij will denote what are the operations that we can perform in domain D3 on object F3. Okay, that is denoted in access matrix. I hope you understand the basic intuition. Yeah, any doubts so far? Because on this access matrix only we will be discussing from now onwards. Yes? Do you understand? Yeah. How we can use this access matrix? This is what you call, this is our next discussion. With this only we'll conclude how we can use this access matrix. Like directly I will show you the example, then I will come back to this slide. Yeah, this is the access matrix with domains also as objects. Try to understand here. Earlier we have seen object what you call access matrix up to this, where we will be having domains as the rows. Okay, domains as the rows, objects as the columns. But here we are having these domains also as objects. Okay, these domains also as objects. Then what are the things that we can have here is, we will not be having read, write, those kind of things here. We will be having switch. Okay, one more thing also there I will tell you. Just we will be having switch as the access right. Now whenever a process is executing in D1, then it could able to switch to D2. It could able to switch to D2, and whatever the write permissions we are having in D2, those can be availed by that process. Let us consider a process P1 is executing in domain 1. Now it wants to execute, it wants to print by using laser printer. Can it able to print? No. Why? Because there is no option, there is no write exist for this. But it is having a write called switch. Whenever switch to which domain? D2. So whenever P1 is switching to D2, then it is getting this right. Then it could able to print. Understand? That is the operation of, that is the functionality of switch. Similarly, suppose a process is executing in D2. Now it wants to perform read operation on F1. Let us assume it wants to perform read operation on F1. Can it able to perform directly? No. Are we having any switch to D1? D1 is having read permission, right? Are we having any switch to D1? No. So we cannot perform. But we are having one convention that we could able to switch to D4. In whenever a process is switched to D4, then it is having the read permission on F1. So we could able to perform. It is not like that. It is not the what you call giving permissions to all. It is not like that. Whatever the allowed ones are there, then that we can depict in this particular access matrix. Whenever we denote domains also as objects, then there is a provision that from one domain to another domain, whatever the switching allowed, that we could able to denote. Okay, that is the access matrix with domains as objects. I hope you understand this. Whenever we denote domains also as objects, then we will be having certain operations, not read write operations. We will be having switch operation. Another one is control, that I will say. Switch operation we can perform. Switch in the sense from existing domain to specified domain we could able to switch, and whatever the writes we are having in the resultant domain, those all we could able to avail. That is the advantage of representing this kind of thing. Yeah. Next. This is one. Next, access matrix with copyrights. Here you observe, this is a simple access matrix which we have seen earlier initially. Okay. In this one, D1, that is domains are rows and objects are columns. Same thing. But if you observe here, what are the operations that we have in domain D1 is execute operation on F1, write operation on F3. Similarly, execute operation on D2 is having execute operation on F1, read operation on F2, execute operation on F3. D3 is having execute operation on F1. Okay, fine. But here if you observe, there is star, read star. Earlier we don't have such kind of thing, but here it is denoted as star. What does it indicates is, star indicates it is holding the copyright on this particular object. Okay, that means in this particular domain, we are having the copyright on F3 on which operation? Write operation. Copyright means, you know, copyright means you will be holding something, whatever you wanted to do, you can do pertaining to that particular object. Now you consider here write, then star is there, then this write permission, you are this domain 1 is holding that write permission copyright. Then this write permission can be given to any other domain. That is the advantage here. Whenever we are having star, then from this domain, as this domain is having the write permission copyright, that write permission can be given to any other domain. That is the indication of write star. Similarly, read star, if you consider read star, same thing. Read permission we are having with copyright. So D2 could able to give read permission on F2 to any other domains. It can give to D1 as it is not having. It can give to D3 as well as it is not having. So read permission copyright is held by whom? D2. So D2 could able to give read permission to D3 or D1. So this is an example for application like read star we are having. So D2, earlier D3 is not having any permission on F2. But as D2 is having read star, that is copyright on read permission. So it could able to give read permission to D3. Okay, this is the resultant. From here we could able to obtain this. Now you answer, can we obtain this kind of thing, right? Yes or no? Yes, please respond, ma. Here write star is there with D1. Then what is the operation of star? What is the operation of star? It is like a copyright. So copyright is with whom? D1. So whenever it is holding the copyright, then it could able to give to any other domain. So we could able to write here write operation. That privilege, that access right can be given to another domain. That is the functionality of star. I hope you understand what is meant by copyright. Yes. Yeah. Next, one more thing we'll see. This is having one another special thing called owner. This is also again access matrix. Here we are having domain as rows, object as columns. Now owner is there. Here also owner is there. Read star we know already. Owner in the sense we could able to give any permission. Okay, owner in the sense we could able to give any permission. Now this could able to this D2 could able to provide permission, write permission to D3. Similarly, here we are having owner, so D2 is providing write permission to D3 on F2. Next, D2 is availing itself read star and write, of course, write star also. Like this, it could able to provide permissions and it could able to revoke permissions also. Like you consider here, execute permission we are having for in D1 we are having execute permission on F1, but D1 is the owner for F1, so it could able to give the permission or it could able to revoke in the sense whatever the permission we have already taken, that can be taken back. Okay, that is execute permission we are having already for D3, but that is revoked here. So from here to here you can understand, whenever one particular domain is holding that ownership, then it could able to do anything. That means it could able to give read permission, it could able to give write permission, execute permission, and whatever the permissions already held by other domains can also be revoked. This is also possible. That means entire ownership is given to that particular domain. That is the functionality of access matrix with owner rights. Okay, as of now we have seen read, write, execute, then switch we have seen. When we can use switch? Switch is in between domains, domain I, domain J. If you have from domain I to domain J, we could able to switch and we could able to avail whatever the rights we are having with DJ. Next, we have seen star. Whenever we have read star, then this read permission can be given to other domains. Write star, write permission can be given to other domains. Next, whenever we have owner, then owner means we could able to give the permission and we could able to revoke the permissions as well. That is the ownership. Okay, so these are the access matrix variations. And here one more thing is there, like in addition to switch we are having control. Control in the sense it will be between domains. It will be between domains only. So control in the sense it could able to control what are the permissions that we have for other domains. Those all can be modified. Like D2 is having the control on D4. That means whatever the access rights we are having with D4, those all can be modified. Those all not with respect to objects. Okay, irrespective of the objects, all the permissions can be modified, can be controlled by D2. That is the functionality of control. Switch in the sense from D2 to D3 we can switch. From D2 to D4 we can switch. From D1 to D2 we can switch. That is switching. But control in the sense it could able to modify whatever the access rights we are having for that domain. That is D2 could able to control D4. That is the meaning of control operation. I hope you understand what are these access matrix. Yes, and simply just in yes, what is meant by sparse matrix, ma? Do you have idea about sparse matrix? What is it? Yes, sparse matrix. Yes or no? Do you have idea or not? It is an important term actually, most frequently used term in industry also. Yes, please respond. Ma. If you know it, then you tell. Otherwise, I will explain in 1 minute. See, sparse matrix in the sense, suppose we are having 5 by 5 matrix. How many entries will be there? 5 by 5 matrix in the sense we will be having 25 entries. So, out of these 25 entries, if you have only 2 entries or 5 entries filled, let us say 5 entries are filled, remaining all are zeros. Remaining all are zeros. Only 5 entries are 1. Okay, so this is the valid information. Only these 5 entries are having the valid information, remaining things are uniform, that is 0 only. Then unnecessarily we will be spending more space. You consider 15 by 15 matrix. How many entries will be there? 225. Let us consider only 20 entries are 1, remaining entries, remaining 205 entries as 0. Then this is said to be a sparse matrix. Sparse matrix in the sense, number of valid entries are very less compared to total number of entries. Valid entries are less. Then we can say it has a sparse matrix. Or I can relate one application. Just you are having a graph like this. You are having a graph like this. How we can represent this graph is by using adjacency matrix. Adjacency matrix in the sense, how many rows we are having, how many columns we are having, how many rows is and how many columns will be equal to, number of rows and number of columns will be equal to number of vertices. How many vertices we are having? 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 9. So 9 by 9 matrix we will be taking. How many entries will be there? 81 entries will be there. Out of those 81 entries, how many ones will be there? From here to here we are having an edge, from here to here we are having an edge. So 2 entries will be filled with 1, that can be at some place. Remaining 79 entries will be filled with 0. So this is nothing but sparse matrix. Okay, this kind of sparse matrix we will be getting whenever we use access matrix. Whenever we use access matrix, here also you can observe read permission we are having, but here these all are empty. These all are empty. Okay, this is what sparse matrix. Whenever we have represented this this one, unnecessarily why to waste this much space? That's why we can use sparse matrix representation. There is one special kind of representation called sparse matrix, that is within 3 columns only we could able to represent entire thing within 3 columns. Instead of taking n by n, we can represent within 3 columns that you can explore. Okay, that is first option. Next, second one is instead of using matrix, we can use list, that is domain and right set. This kind of list we will be using, as we have seen earlier, domain, how domain will be there, object 1, then read. This kind of access rights we will be having, right? This list we will be maintaining. That can be another option. Like this we can implement access matrix. Of course, some other implementations also exist. Yeah, I hope you understand what is access matrix and what are the things that we can perform. Yeah, I told you. Yeah, last one, special access rights. Owner means he could able to give access rights to any other domain. Okay, we have seen whenever we are having owner, then how manipulations can be done, that we have seen. Next, copy operator, that is we will denote by using star. Then he could able to give from current domain, he could able to give same operation, that is read star. If you have this read permission, we can give to other domains on same object, that is copy operator. Next, control in the sense one domain could able to modify another domain access rights, that is control. Next, transfer in the sense we can switch from, transfer in the sense switch only, we can switch from one domain to another domain. That is if you have some privileges in DI, if you switch from DI to DJ, if you have switch here, then DJ will be having some other permissions. So we could able to avail these permissions whenever we have this switch operation between, switch is allowed between DI and DJ, then we could able to avail. So these are the uses of access matrix. I hope you understand what is meant by protection and how we could able to provide this. Yeah. Any doubts, ma? Yes?